Can our intro for this movie just be like 5 minutes of cars driving around with nothing happening?
I've never had a movie that was also a sedative. have you ever? Have you ever?
Beethoven 2. Beethoven 2nd.
No, there was more going on. It wasn't. Like okay, there's other movies that have as much going, like have as little going on as this, or even less. But this one put me to sleep. Like this one, I felt like I took a tranquilizer and watched this movie. Oh,
So, what you're saying is we have stumbled upon an ancient relic that is the main cause for lethargy in human beings. And
this is
that
like the
and
start
that
of
and that we need to find some sort of a Nazi evil scientist to give it to.
Boyks, do you remember how we wrote on our hands before the start of this podcast to not talk about Adolf Hitler?
Fuck! Yeah!
Shit! You already fucked up, man! Welcome to Rough Cuts.
I guess.
Dogs, they're coming. They're coming your way. They'll be here soon.
I don't. Why does this movie?
Why do they have the Adolf Hitler thing?
Why are there two books of Adolf Hitler in this movie?
Wait, was there two?
There were two. There was Mein Kampf, and then there was a book about Adolf Hitler.
Oh, was there an actual Mein Kampf? I just saw the Adolf Hitler one. They featured it
Maybe?
prominently.
It was very prominent.
Just
For like no reason.
So for context, this is just a scene where like there's two characters talking in an office, and one picks up a book and starts just kind of flipping through it, and it's like they zoom in on the book, and the book's just Adolf Hitler, and you're like, is this relevant? Like
They don't ever talk about it. It's just there.
Nope. There's just, hey kids, you want to know about Hitler?
Anyway, I'm Boyks. This is Ilyon. We're here for Rough Cuts. This is apparently our fun comedy detective movie. I guess.
I wrote down a lot more notes than this movie deserves, as I said. I wrote down half a page. And I wrote down in those notes, I wrote every joke in the movie.
There were jokes?
Yep.
Okay.
I wrote that there was the scene where Chevy Chase, as a small dog, is chased by a big dog, and then he comes back later with like talking to the big dog and being like, "Oh, and see, that's why we should be friends and things." And they're just kind of like having a normal conversation, quote unquote. And then he gets like the doorman to lock the dog out, another big dog out.
Yeah,
that was a joke. It wasn't okay. I didn't say it was a good joke. I said it was a joke. There was a little bit of delivery and stuff in it. It was obviously intended to be a joke. Because like there's nothing else that I can even see as being intended to be a joke. And then the other one is Chevy Chase himself.
Yes. So this movie is called Oh Heavenly Dog.
Fuck.
It's an official Benji movie, right? So this is from the Benji director, the Benji writer. It stars one of the Benjis. They literally call them Benji.
Of a movie.
Yeah, I guess. That was better.
Listen, that's as much of a joke as anything in this fucking film.
Wait.
I'm on board's team slide whistle now. This movie's done that to me. That feels like comedy goddamn gold after this.
We were talking about this during the film with Chevy Chase, and I think the American public and Hollywood in general have been tricked at some point in time into thinking that Chevy Chase is both a good actor and funny. And he's not either of those things. He's just monotonous, boring, and a weird pervert asshole.
Yep.
And every single movie we see with him, because apparently he had to do 2 talking dog movies in his fucking career. It's just him. He's not acting. He's just being Chevy Chase. And it's weird.
They put a camera in front of him, and he becomes a weird, creepy pervert like he always is. And he delivers all of his lines like this, and he talks like that in the movie for the whole time, and it's so awful. Like, for example, there'll be a scene where, like that I said about the big dog chasing him, like there's a big dog chasing the little dog and like barking and growling and all this kind of stuff, and he comes around the corner and sees the big dog and he goes, "Oh shit." And then the dog runs away. Like that's his surprise scared reaction.
His line delivery is like, "Oh shit, I can't deal with this right now."
Yeah. and that'll be like a serious moment where he's like in physical danger. Like Omar Shariff will shoot at him and he'll be like, "Oh no, I might get caught." Like, and that's literally the line delivery. And then there's a minute, like a few minutes later, he'll try and do like a joke thing, like when he's talking to the dog afterwards, and they're like trying to have a normal conversation. He goes, "So you better lock that dog out because it's chasing me."
It's not just Chevy though. It's like all non-Omar Shariff characters.
Yes,
which is 100% the writer and director. And that makes me believe that the Benji director is a sham, and I cannot believe that from Benji director. I've never seen
there's a movie called Benji the Hunted, and now we need to see that because it's called Benji the Hunted, and it's got like vaporwave text over it. That's got to be a brilliant masterpiece.
With what looks like a completely fake poster that was made in Photoshop about Benji falling into the woods and leading a bunch of like stray wild cats around while being hunted by another animal. Yep. And I can't help but imagine that it's the most boring piece of shit ever after watching this.
Yeah, that's true. After watching this,
It has to be. There's no way.
There's been movies that we've seen. This movie has some semblance of plot. It has some semblance of, like, Omar's a good actor.
Yeah.
He's a fantastic actor. Even in this piece of shit film, he actually does a good job. He
puts in the most effort out of all the actors, for sure. And it shows. Every scene he's in, I'm like, oh shit, it's Omar. This is great.
Yeah, Omar Shariff is a fantastic actor.
Yeah.
And, like, it's generally really flatly shot, and there's the boom mic keeps falling into a lot of the frames.
There's so many boom mic scenes.
But, like, also, at the same time, it's not like some of the films where we've seen where they do action shots of the dog running around, and it starts going at 1 frame per second because the cameras can't even keep up with the speed of the dog, so, like, it's stuttering and stuff. Like, we didn't get shit like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, we didn't get... There's not, like, sound issues like in Love on a Leash where it's just unlistenable and then loud as hell and, like, back and forth like that. This is, like, it's very... it's very poorly shot and very flat shots. Like, it feels, like I said, like the B team of a Murder, She Wrote. Like, if everybody that was filming Murder, She Wrote got sick on a day, and they had to call in, like, emergency relief Murder, She Wrote people to, like, direct it and, like, hold boom mics and shit. It feels like that. So it's like an incompetent TV show. But it's still not, like, total indie garbage. But yet somehow it's still just so much worse than everything we've watched in a lot of ways. It's so boring somehow.
It has a sense of competence and incompetence at the same time. Like, the studio that did the recording, the television studio they hired, because it was definitely not a movie studio. The television studio they hired on the cheap knew how to at least take shots. They didn't know how to light shit. Definitely.
No, it's flat.
It's all flat garbage lighting. But they knew how to take shots. They knew how to make, like, scenes work. And
flows.
Not look awful. I mean, they weren't great, but they weren't awful. But there was clearly no passion. And
No.
it was just another day in the studio. Let's phone it in. Let's just finish our work, go home, and make our aspic, Jello mold meatloaf afterwards.
From the 70s, yeah.
Because that's what
God.
100% the people that were making this. And it's just like, I don't know, man. Am I supposed to care? You didn't care. Why are we here? What brought us to this moment?
I think that maybe why this movie is so boring, because it is.
Yeah.
I think it's the most boring film that we've watched. Like it's bad for how tiring it is. But I think that what it might be is that like the scenes flow and stuff, but I think there's two things. Everybody talks in a monotone voice like this at about that pace and cadence. But then also it is a murder mystery. It's supposedly a comedy, but it's not. There's no jokes in this.
No.
And so the other side of it is that it's like a romantic murder mystery thing. And Chevy Chase is a hard-boiled detective, whatever. But it was, 15 minutes into the film? They show the murder scene, and they show hands and feet, and then like a stab, and you're like, oh no, who is it?
In a classic murder mystery, especially made for television. If you're going to do it for television, you need to have certain shots. So you have a shot where the character's back is turned, and somebody with gloves wearing something that's hiding their arms and whatnot is stabbing them or shooting them, and they're in dark lighting, so you can't see it. And then it cuts. You go to the next scene. The murder has been established. In this, they show him wearing gloves. They start to do the establishing shot. They're like, yeah, we're a murder thing. We watched Columbo once. Mm-hmm. And then they fucking zoom in on Omar's face. They're like, it was Omar. Like 3 seconds after.
Yes, like right afterwards, they go back to the crime scene, and he's just like, they show like the murderer dip into it. Like, so Chevy Chase gets reincarnated as a dog to solve his own murder.
Sure.
I'll get back to that in a minute because I have some things to talk about with that. But he goes back to the crime scene, and the crime scene, God, it's so bad. Everybody's walking in and out of it, all the different characters, just kind of like walking in and out of this crime scene, even though there's like an outline of a body on the floor. Only one body, even though there were two murders.
Yeah, because Chevy got murdered and Woman got murdered.
Yeah, Woman that he was hired to protect gets murdered, and then Chevy Chase gets murdered when he goes to check on her. And so, but they only have one body outline, which is amazing. But he comes back as a dog, and you see like murderer duck into the closet, or somebody duck into a closet. Yeah. And it just shows like the shoes, and then the door closes, and you're like, ooh, that must be the murderer. And then the door of the closet opens slightly, and Omar's face peeks through, and he's like looking around the room, and you're like, oh, okay, so Omar did it. That's the thing. And yeah, that's the whole thing. Is it's like,
that's it. There's no mystery. It's just him.
And like even before that, Chevy Chase is in heaven accounting area or whatever, getting to be reincarnated as a dog. And they're like, oh, you need to solve your own murder. And they pass him a newspaper, and he was hired by Omar to protect this woman. And then it's like, oh, like Chevy Chase murdered her in a murder-suicide, like Chevy Chase's character. I don't even know what his name is. Holy shit.
His name's Chevy Chase.
Brown? Wait, it's Brown. It's Brown. His last name is Brown, I think. But anyways, so
just
Chevy
like this
Chase
movie, it was very brown and boring.
Yeah. He gets set up for the murder, so it's like the headline is like, oh, like he murders the woman in like a murder-suicide or something. I don't know, something like that. And he goes, oh yeah, because it was like her and her lover get killed.
Sure.
And then he's like, oh no, he set me up. So like right there, it's like, okay, so there you go. I solved the murder. Like, there you go. It's that guy. The guy that hired me and set me up for this. It was him. And hey, look, that's the whole movie. It was him. It was Omar Shariff the whole time. Because the movie tells you that. Like, 5 fucking minutes into the movie. Where's the mystery?
It takes the wind out of the sails of the entire attempted plot. Like, so let's talk about murder mystery a little bit, because I'm a big fan of Agatha Christie movies and books. Poirot. I'm a big fan of Sherlock Holmes. Murder, She Wrote's fucking great. I've actually never seen Columbo, but you're a big Columbo fan.
I've watched so much Columbo. I loved Columbo as a kid.
So let's talk about here's how Agatha Christie sets up a murder mystery. So you're on a train, and there's the detective in the room with one of the characters. There's like 6 other characters. You introduce all the characters. They all have different quirks. And then night happens. There's a loud yell. Somebody dies in one of the rooms, and none of the characters could have been in that room. Right? So now you're going to each character, you're talking to them, they're giving little details about their character, why they're there, who they're there for, and then eventually, as it goes on, you're like, wait, it wasn't one character, it was all of them, and that's the twist, and you're like, it slowly builds, you know?
And like little pieces of the story don't add up, like it's kind of like...
There's little, like,
this person
thoughts.
Seems innocent, but then why are they, like,
you need to be
why
engaged,
are they in this room,
right?
like, looking for notes or something? Like, they'll be caught doing something weird, and you're like, wait, I thought that person was innocent. It seemed like they had a really good alibi. Why are they doing this? And you're like, then so-and-so, like, almost certainly did the murder. Like, they had, like, the gun in the room or something. And you're like, but this other person's doing this weird thing, so why are they doing that? Is it that they're also investigating? Are they trying to hide something separate? Did they plant the gun? Like, you get little bits and pieces of things like that kind of don't quite add up.
And or a person might even be not suspicious, but then you find out, wait, they knew this person 3 years ago. How did they randomly wind up in the same location?
That was exactly the thing that I was going to bring up.
Yeah.
That is exactly the thing I was going to bring up, because the number one thing for, like, the difference between this, like, as a really good way to highlight that, is that in this film, Chevy Chase in the opening credit sequence bumps into a woman. Mm-hmm. They, like, literally, they fall into each other, and he asks her out, and that's his love interest for this film. He gets killed right afterwards and never sees her again, never goes on the date with her, nothing. But, like, he bumps into her on the street. And then she comes back, and she's in the apartment when he gets resurrected, because she's an author looking into this murder mystery because she wants to do into this murder because she wants to do a book around it. And so she's investigating it. And you're like, that's a really weird coincidence that, like, she's connected to all of these people. And it's nothing. They never bring it up. It doesn't mean anything. It's just she's there because she's there. It's simply plot contrivance, and that fucking sucks.
Like they set it up. Yeah, they set it up so that she could be the murderer, and she's not. She's just person.
Or, like, involved in some weird way. Yeah. Like, they could do... there's so many ways that you could do that, where it's like, there would be some kind of interesting twists around why she's involved in this, why she knows Chevy Chase, why she, like, knows why she's interested in this particular murder, because, like, there's not
no
even any reason for that.
Though.
There's no reason for that at all. She just goes in there and she goes, oh yeah, by the way, I'm an author, and I guess that I should investigate this because I want to. And it's like, well, wait, why? Like, is there some reason for it? No,
it's like a very stupid Jessica Fletcher.
Yep. Like, everything is set up that way, though. Like, everything is plot contrivance, because why is Chevy Chase resurrected to solve his own murder?
Well, because they needed that Star Wars scene.
But besides that, there's no reason. Yeah, they actually very literally, the heaven accountant guy holds out the most literal laser pointer of all time. And I guess, was that a joke? Should I write that in as a joke?
Maybe.
I guess.
It's a gag.
He just picks up a stamp. It was a stamp. Yeah. And he uses it as a pointer, but he, like, presses a button on the side of it, and it's not like a parody of the lightsaber noise.
No.
It's very literally the exact lightsaber effect and noise. 100%. And he just, like, goes, here's the way that look at this map.
Yeah. It's like very self-aware that it's doing that, and I don't know why.
There's no reason for it. There's no joke in it.
The idea to put the tarp over it was Gary Busey's. Was that?
We had it for Star Wars.
I'm sorry, what?
You're currently at the intermediate destination evaluation facility.
What?
Where
is this a joke?
Or not, you will go up to your ultimate reward, or down to eternal damnation.
But how did he get the licensing? Let's talk about the heaven. The heaven part is fucking weird.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
So Chevy Chase dies. He goes to quote unquote heaven, which is the super way overlit, blown out white room, whatever. And there's an accountant old man at a desk who's like, "Hello, welcome to heaven. Yes, today you're going to. Looks like you're gonna be stuck in here for how many years? Oh wait, no. I guess we're gonna have to revive you because you need to solve your own murder. Oh, and I have a lightsaber." He's like pointing at a projector. I don't like. It's just nonsensical. Fucking what?
Yeah, and like Chevy Chase's character doesn't go like, "Well, why do I need to solve my own murder?"
No.
There's nothing about that. He doesn't make any mention of it, why they need to do it. There's no, like, other films like this would say, like, oh, you have 72 hours to go back and solve your own murder and be a better person or you're going to hell. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a reason for it. Like,
I guess.
But there's nothing. There's absolutely zero said about why he would need to go back and do this. There's no time limit on it. There's no rules around it.
There's technically nothing. A time limit because they're like, hey, if you don't solve this in 48 hours or whatever, you'll have to stay in the dog until it dies normally.
No. That's later on. That's way, way later in the movie. And they don't even say that. He just says, oh, well, we're just going to have to take you back to heaven. And he doesn't say why. He just goes like, oh, well, you're done. And he's like, well, but I'm so close to getting this solved. And he's like, no, you decided that you don't need to be here. And he's like, well, I want to stay and solve the murder. And he's like, well, then you're just going to have to wait until the dog's life dies. Like, there's no actual time limit on that either. There's no rules around it. They just bring it up as the guy wants to take him back to heaven. And there's, again, no explanation as to why that's happening. Like, there's never... The plot moves forward, but it doesn't make it in any reasonable sense other than we want the plot to move forward. There's no logical steps from one thing to the next at all. It just does it because it needs to do it.
I think I've been broken because I'm about to say what I think I'm about to say, and I think Quigley did this better.
Yeah.
And I feel bad about saying that, but it did.
It had rules around it. There was a reason for him coming back. He had to be a better person. Like, at least there was that kind of establishment. There's no establishment as to why Chevy Chase wants to solve this, why he cares, why, like, if there's any time limit or repercussions if he doesn't do it, if there's any reward if he does succeed on it. There's none of it. Absolutely nothing. There's zero reason or motivation for any of these characters to do any of this. And I'm getting angry thinking about it because it's so dumb.
Isn't Chevy's motivation to be a weird pervert to woman he met like 5 minutes ago?
Yes.
That's his motivation, right? He just wants to jump in the bathtub and watch her strip in the, bathroom.
Which is a thing that we get, because of course we fucking do.
Twice.
Chevy Chase, she starts getting naked because he goes back to the apartment with the woman who's the author, because of course he bumps into her arbitrarily, as everything happens in this movie, at that apartment, like, where the murder happened, and then he just follows her home and she takes him in. And then every time that she's, like, changing for a day, he's like, ooh, baby, I get to see some tits, and follows her around, and it's super, super creepy and gross and weird.
Yeah. There's a lot of uncomfortable scenes of guys touching women's, like, knees and thighs.
Yes. There is a lot of that. And Chevy Chase always is, like, interrupting to stop them from touching her because he's jealous.
Well, it could be a good scene of him stopping them if he wasn't also a weird pervert.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
I know, he's right to stop them because they're being gross, weird perverts, but the reason that he's stopping them isn't to stop them from being gross, weird perverts, it's because he's jealous that they get to do it and not him, which sucks worse. It sucks so much. Everything about this is stupid. There's also a creepy woman pervert in this as well.
Oh, yeah, the German, we're back to Germans. We said don't talk about it.
Oh, God! We're talking about the fucking... It's always the Germans!
She's like a stereotypical German!
Yeah, in heaven there is angry German lady who's the stereotype of, you must stay in line, you have to,
She really wants to bone the Chevy.
Yeah, then she's got, like, buns on the side of her head. And Okay, Boyks, explain the scene as to why she wants to bone Chevy Chase and how they set that up.
Because he doesn't want to be reincarnated as a dog, so she's gonna stay and fuck him in heaven instead, but he's grossed out by her, so now he's going to be reincarnated as a dog, I think? Is that right?
There's no setup for it again, right? Like, she's sitting there and she's angry German lady, and she goes,
yeah.
"Oh, you must stay here for 6 to 7 months." And he's like, "Oh, well, no, they said that I was reincarnated today." And she goes, "Oh, fine." And she like does this whole thing, and she's obviously like upset and angry at him. And then he goes like, "Well, I don't want to be reincarnated as a dog." And she just 180.
Yeah, she's like, instantly. "Oh, well, let's fuck then."
In 1 second, she goes, "Oh, you don't want to be dog? Oh, well, you're a very sexy man. I take you in the back." And like, and then it's like, wait, what? She hated him literally 0.5 seconds before this. And there's no reason for the turnaround at all. Like, there's nothing. It's just because
it's
I guess
really
joke.
Weird. Well, the best part about that scene is when the scene ends, she's just like, "All right, we're done," and then walks off.
It's so good. She like is smiling and, "Oh, I'm sexy German lady, I want you." And then he like steps into this chamber to be reincarnated, and her face just drops, and she like walks away really like angry and monotone.
The actress is just done with that scene.
And I'm like, yeah, I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure that's where they were supposed to cut before that. Yeah. And she's just like done. She does not want to be near Chevy Chase and just hated being with him at all. And it just shows in. She didn't have to act. She's just, oh God, get me away from fucking Chevy Chase, please.
There were 2 good scenes in the whole movie that I liked. One is Benji using a rotary phone with a pencil, and that was fucking adorable and actually impressive.
Mm-hmm. And really impressive.
And they didn't use any fake dog paws. Like, Benji was just good at acting in this movie and doing stuff.
We always say that movies need more fake dog paw. And I'm wrong, because this movie has Benji, like, with its actual paw, like the real dog, running up to intercoms and, like, pressing the button and, like, barking into it kind of thing, and, like, doing things like that. Like, it uses a phone with its paw. It does all kinds of things. It's amazing.
And like, when the dog's supposed to be scared, it looks scared. When it's, like, being aggressive and, like, confronting people, it's like, oh, shit, yeah, Benji's acting. This is good. I like
There are 2 actors in this movie. Omar and Benji, and everybody else is just kind of walking through the movie and going through the motions.
They had a scene with Chevy Chase on all 4s, and it was fucking boring.
Right?
They took that from us.
They had Chevy Chase on all 4s, holding a necklace that was part of like the murder mystery in his mouth, and it was totally boring and forgettable. How did they make every scene of this movie boring and forgettable?
How did Quigley do this better? I'm so mad.
I do want to mention though, again, just like, I want to impress upon everybody this director, the one thing that I think that he's very good at is or like the people that he worked with, like that he hires, that he knew, man, they are good dog trainers and stuff.
Yeah.
Shit. Benji does, and they focus on it a lot. That's the one thing that this movie does very, very well. I think that it has the best dog scenes as far as like stunts and stuff goes out of any movie that we've seen, by far.
I mean, Shaggy DA had some good dog stuff.
That's Man in Dog Suit. That doesn't count. I mean, it rules. It was the best shit, but it's not really a dog. Well, the dog wasn't actually roller skating, boy. That was Man in Dog Suit.
Wait, what? Whoa.
I hate to break it to you. That was a man in a dog suit. Or a woman in a dog suit or somebody. Or somebody in a dog suit.
Why would you ruin that for me?
I'm going to tell you, Santa's not real, too.
You son of a bitch. I saw that movie.
When they had the elf and Santa stole our dog, it wasn't real, it was CGI and dancing in front of him.
No!
They were throwing candy over. It wasn't a real elf. I'm sorry.
The second scene that was really good was Umbrella Grandma hitting Omar on the back of his
head. Oh, right! Yeah! Omar Shariff goes to, like, fucking kill Benji.
He's like gonna strangle him or something. Yeah.
he was doing a bad thing to the dog, and so grandma comes over and starts beating the hell out of him, and that was great, because fuck Omar for doing that. Bad Omar. I don't know a single character's name. Do you remember?
I just know them by their actors.
What's the name of the main character who is the investigator author woman?
Woman.
Yes, that is correct. That's
her
the
name.
Answer I was looking for.
That's
also her personality and her plot line.
Yeah, her hobbies are dating every man who asks her out.
I was just gonna get to that. It's like every single man. She goes on 4 or 5 dates in this movie, right?
There are almost as many dates in this movie as Love on a Leash.
Every man that she meets, within 5 minutes of seeing them, she talks to them and they go, "Ooh, would you like to go out?" And she goes, "Yeah, I'm free Saturday." And then they just sit down and have wine at her apartment. There's always a scene of that, right afterwards. It's like what is this woman doing?
She's supposedly a author, a writer. And in, let's say, a better show / movie, you would see Jessica Fletcher in her office going through papers, doing research, writing, and
finding little pieces of newspaper clippings that would match up timelines and stuff that people were talking about, where she would be looking at a newspaper and somebody would be like, oh, because in this they meet in the Swiss Alps. I don't know why. I don't know. There's something that matters about that. But it's will she be like, wait, did they say the 80s? And you look at the paper and it's ooh, no, it said 79. So oh, the years don't match. Do you know what I mean? There'd be something like that, right?
Yeah,
there'd be a little
she's
clue.
She's not a writer though. She just records things on she's more a reporter, I guess. Or an interviewer? That's all she does is interview people.
Kind of, but she doesn't even really do that. She just kind of it shows her wander from scene to scene, and then every time that she wanders into a scene, she meets a man. They ask her to go out. She goes on a date with them. And, she just happens to be in the places where things happen afterwards. There's no real reason for her to be... She's never going somewhere to investigate it, it feels like. It's always
she's just wandering around. There.
Yeah, it's just kind of her day-to-day life. But her day-to-day life coincidentally brings her into contact with all of the specific things that would happen. Mostly because Benji is also doing investigating, and he does a little bit more, and she's following the dog, or the dog keeps kind of coming towards her because Chevy Chase is a weird, creepy pervert and wants to be around her.
There's a lot of statue dicks, boobs, and asses in this movie. And I don't know why.
Where are you going with that? There is. But I don't know why.
I'm thinking about the art gallery, because she goes to the art gallery later on, and the entire art exhibit is just boobs everywhere, and it's weird.
Well, I mean, that's art exhibits, though.
I guess, but the exhibit
I'm joking. This movie doesn't understand art exhibits. The people at the art exhibits are a woman who talks like this, and then a bunch of guys that are and then a bunch of guys that are obviously made out to be very homophobic stereotypes, and then they go, "Ooh, look at the twins are here," and they have the weird people that are dressed in strange fashion that look identical, and that's what they think artists are. That's the scene. I don't know if that's supposed to be a joke or if that's what they actually think art is and art galleries are.
Yeah, it's what Harvester thinks art is.
Yeah.
That's a reference.
That's a deep cut. But it's that kind of thing. It's a facile, stupid generalization of what the regular masses think high art is. And they think that it's all just weird postmodern, disembodied boobs and butts, because art is only about sex, and that's what it is.
Even outside of that, when Chevy's walking into the office where woman 1 gets murdered, there's a scene where he's opening the door, and they're not gonna. God, they're shooting this so shitty. There's just a door on a wall, and they kind of look through the crack in the door to see what's through it. But then when he's walking in, I'm wait, is that a dick? And there's just this erect statue dick at eye level next to him.
Yeah.
And he turns around, he's like, oh god, a penis. And then, like, there's no reason for that. That's not part of, like, the artsy schmartsy thing. That's just a dick joke, right? Like, that's what's weird about it to me.
There's no joke there, though. Because he goes in, it's next to him. It doesn't even, like, zoom in so that it's next to him and you can't, like don't get me wrong, it's not a good joke, but, like, a scary movie or something, right? Like, that level of just really dumb, stupid comedy would have it where, like, there's a dick floating next to his head and he doesn't realize it kind of thing. But then what they would do is they would do, like, a tight shot of it and, like, have it that he's totally unaware, and then he'd turn and do, like, the whoa reaction.
Yeah,
but he doesn't even do that. There's no, like, tight shot of it. It stays flat, far away, and he kind of looks over and he goes, oh, dick, and then he, like, turns away, and
he's just like, what? Like, it's weird.
His reaction to it is so mild.
It's more weird that he acknowledged it than anything else. But what I'm getting at is this movie has this weird, like, I guess, repressed Christian sexual tone to it. And it's just,
I see what you're saying.
I don't know if that's the writer-director. It has to be. But, like, why? For what purpose? It has to be for, like, a comedic purpose, but it just feels fucking out of place and weird.
There's no comedy in this film. I have never seen a movie with less comedy. Like, there's nothing. I cannot impress upon people how little comedy there is in this. Like, not even bad comedy, not even like, oh, this is a joke and it falls flat. There's not even attempts. Like, I can't even think of scenes where it was attempting to be funny.
I had to go on Twitter to remind myself what a joke was and then laugh. God. That's the best part about this movie.
So it's a murder mystery comedy that has no comedy, solves the murder mystery in the first 5 fucking seconds of the movie.
Yeah.
You said that Quigley does a better job of this as far as, like, the reincarnation of the dog thing. I would also like to put to you that Scooby-Doo does a better job of doing a murder mystery because there's actual mystery and, like, a case solving and stuff, and a twist in it. Jinkies, look, it's Scrappy-Doo. James Gunn's weird Persona P fetish.
Like, I mean, at least,
there's more. I would rather watch James Gunn weird Persona P fetish again than see this.
Are you saying you want to see
nonsense.
Omar? You want to see Omar Shariff open his chest and Scrappy-Doo pop out at the end of this movie? Because that would actually be good.
And then pee on Benji?
Then pee on woman. Because that's what would happen. Like, okay, so, whatever.
I would rather see that. Listen.
Yeah.
I'm in.
So, I guess the main plot of the film is they steal a necklace from her, which is important because reasons.
It's because So I pieced together enough.
Okay.
Omar is the assistant to another weird, like,
it's like
vanilla
future
pudding
prime
of a
minister man.
Yeah, that they go like, oh, he might be the future prime minister. So they want him to be a politician, and he's like the assistant to this man. That man was involved in an affair with this woman,
right?
And Omar didn't want it to get found out. So he murders her, so she doesn't talk about it, and then sets up Chevy Chase to be the lover instead, and steals a necklace that she had on her that connects him and, like, the prime minister guy.
Right, because he gave it to her. Okay, I understand.
Exactly. As lovers. That's the plot.
Okay.
Yeah.
They were very bad at representing what the plot was. I'm going to point that out.
That's me piecing it together after thinking about it for the good 25 minutes that I had to take a break from this movie afterwards. Like, how long did I leave you for, like, after we finished this movie?
I wasn't sure you were coming back, to be honest.
You could have done a small movie montage of me, like, staring out over the ocean, like, wandering around, like, just reflecting on life. That's what I had to do. I had to do that inside of my house for a while because I just needed a moment to just contemplate and let it just settle.
Yeah, but so she confronts the prime minister, but she's not. She's just interviewing him for fun because of her book. What happens?
No, she's not even doing that. It's a date again.
She's dating him.
Again.
Stop dating everyone.
So, it's another date.
So she's on a date with him, I guess, and Benji rolls over with the necklace because of reasons.
Because he found it. It doesn't matter.
He starts reacting weirdly, and then Benji turns on the recorder or off the recorder. I don't know.
He turns on the recorder
to record his confession, but he didn't murder it. Omar just comes out and said, "You didn't do it. I did. Ha! That was the mystery the whole time. I did it."
For no fucking reason. And it's like played like this big thing where he's like, aha, no, you think that it was the prime minister guy, but it was me. And it's like, nobody thought that because you fucking showed who did it right away. 5 minutes in, you fuckers.
Yeah. And then he shoots woman who dies. And then we get the scene from Futurama where the dog is sitting, outside of a shop for 20 years listening to walking on sunshine.
Waiting for her to show back up, and she comes back as a cat.
And she comes back as a cat, because the movie was about true love. And now they're together forever as reincarnated dog and cat. And then they do a Homeward Bound Benji movie together or something. I don't fucking know. What was the goddamn point?
This woman who he met for 10 seconds at the beginning of the film, where he walked into her, and they literally fell over each other, and then he walked away. And it was a 10 to 15 second scene and interaction. And of course, he asks her on a date, and she says yes, because she says yes to every goddamn man. She's woman.
Ladies,
she's just woman.
Ladies, this is horse shit.
Yes. Anyways, 15 seconds in, he sees her like that. Then he gets murdered, and they never meet again.
No.
But that's his true love, and they meet in the reincarnated afterlife of being dog and cat.
Maybe this isn't about true love, but it's about him being her Obi-Wan. Wait, this does have a lightsaber.
Are we allowed to make lightsaber references? Can we do this?
Can we bring this back to Star Wars for a second? I think this whole movie is a Star Wars reference.
Explain. Keep going. Yeah, I'm with you. Reel me in. You got it. Lay down the foundation, friend.
So Omar is the emperor, right? He's like, yes, let's go. You're evil, Chevy.
Okay,
young Chevy.
Well, he doesn't need to do that because Chevy Chase's evil is evident from the get-go.
Well, that's because of the darkness inside Luke. Right? So Chevy's the darkness inside Luke, which is why they needed to have Luke's lightsaber show up when he went to heaven. It was so you knew that this was a Star Wars reference.
Yeah. Okay,
so,
I get you. And then she's the other half of Luke, the good half.
Yeah.
And there's really nothing to that side of Luke, so it's just kind of bland and boring.
The only part of that is the blue milk. Yeah, the blue milk.
Yeah.
She's the blue milk of Luke Skywalker. Yes.
Okay.
So
I'm on Twitter now.
I see.
Much like we were for most of this film. God.
So anyway, this movie sucked out all the life for me, just like Star Wars.
God. It's as dead of a husk as the most recent Star Wars films.
Oh my god. Yeah.
You know how Star Wars has been resurrected as a dead horrible husk like they did with Palpatine, where it's just a shriveled shell of its former self?
Yes.
Yeah, this movie starts there. That's the way that it homages Star Wars the most, is that it's just already a shriveled husk of itself.
I feel like we need to inform the Star Wars audience that this is a canon part of the Star Wars franchise because it has a lightsaber in it. So
Benji's
there's no way
there's
no way it can't be a part of the Star Wars universe, and we need to get the Star Wars fan base to buy up every VHS copy of Oh Heavenly Dog, because it doesn't exist online for any sort of streaming or DVD or anything like that. So
I was going to say all 5 copies that are available.
Yeah, we need to get the Star Wars fan base invested enough in this fucking movie that we can trick them into thinking that we We need a sequel. Yes, I need a Star Wars themed sequel of this without Chevy Chase. Please just don't put Chevy Chase.
Stop bringing back Chevy Chase. But CGI in Omar Sharif if you have to, but don't bring back Chevy.
Just put Benji in a robe and give him a lightsaber. I'm so in for a Benji lightsaber murder mystery in Star Wars. Are you kidding me?
This dog is awesome. I really liked this dog. I'm done talking about this movie. I don't care about this movie. Fuck this movie. We sat and, okay, let's be honest. Be honest, Boyks. How much of this movie did you actually watch?
Look, I was on Twitter for at least 2/3 of this movie, and I would say that's about... I should have had another third of that on Twitter. So...
I don't know if he's lost. I just don't have him and don't know where he is.
Right? That means he's lost. I'm gonna stand up for a second.
Yeah, just pause it.
I gotta go to the bathroom too, so it's just
my god, no, there's 40 minutes left? Holy shit. I can't do it. I thought that we had I'm like, okay, we've gotta have 20, right? It's gotta be close.
Look.
Holy
It's
fuck.
Fine. I'll be right back.
God damn. Honestly, we got all of the scenes that mattered because most of the scenes of this movie are them. They will have a scene that is she walks into the office to go and meet with Chevy Chase's partner to talk about his murder and find out where one piece of information about him. And it will go on for 7 or 8 minutes.
It's long. And there's a lot of 5-minute establishing shots too. Just have no point. Just to pad
in between there's 5 minutes establishing shots. And then when she actually goes in, the scene could have been, hey, I'm here to interview Chevy Chase's partner. I know that he died in this murder and I wanted to see his office. And then just her going into the office, grabbing the one piece of evidence and then walking out. And it could have been that 30 seconds done. And it's an 8-minute scene. Because she just sits there and she goes, hi, are you the person that knew Chevy Chase? She goes, oh, yes, I'm so sad that he's dead now. And it's that pace of fucking dialogue. Okay, I'm done. I don't want to talk about it anymore. But it's that throughout the whole thing. And I couldn't handle it. I normally watch these while you walk away. I sat here and I found myself just wandering, my eyes staring at I was looking at the wall. I was looking at my whiteboard that I have in the room. I shit you not, I was just anything. I was twiddling I've got a pen here and I was sitting here twiddling it and scratching off the little logo on the pen because it's a hotel pen. So I was sitting there scratching that off because it was more interesting than watching this fucking movie. But Benji, let's rate Benji. Benji is how would you rate Benji?
Benji's very cute. Very good actor. I liked all of the scenes where Benji was doing stunts and cool things with the phone, and Benji was very good. I would give Benji a very solid 12 out of 10.
Okay. I personally am going to give Benji is a fantastic actor, a really, really solid stunt dog, like we said, probably the best dog actor that we know. Particularly because it's not Benji, this is a fraud, 0 out of 10. They lied on the goddamn cover. This is the daughter of Benji. Fuck this movie! They lied! This dog lied to us, Boyks! It's not Benji! It acts like Benji. It's a fraud.
It's a half fraud.
It's a fucking fraud. It's a fraud out of 10. Fuck this Benji. Although the cat at the end that rubs against Benji and cuddles it, that's really supposed to be the woman, is really, really cute. There's a really good moment of both the cat and dog playing with each other. It's awesome.
Okay, the next most important thing to rate in the movie is how would you rate the boom mics?
There were a dozen boom mic shots, right? At least.
There were a lot. It was center frame too.
There is more boom mic in this movie. Okay, so we said that Omar Shariff is the best actor in this movie. He also shows up for almost none of it. Like, he's in very
He shows
little.
up about as much as the boom mic.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm like, did the boom mic have more screen time than Omar Shariff? Because I think it's close.
Yeah.
If only we could have had Chevy Chase show up for that.
I feel like since we rated Chevy Chase the last time he was in a talking dog movie that we watched, I feel like we need to rate him again. I would give him the exact last frame of this movie, which is Woof out of 10.
Woof. He's a woof. Yeah, there's a really good frame.
Woof.
Just the end shot. After all the credits roll, it just says woof. And
yeah, but it's like a sarcastic woof. It's like, woof. I can't believe we watched this shit.
Yeah. I feel like he's better than in Karate Dog.
He's not as, like, disgusting.
He's better only because they didn't let him make a pedophile joke.
I guess.
That is literally, like, the only difference. Because he creeps on this woman the whole fucking movie, man. He follows her into the bathtub and, like, assaults her. Like, they even have it where she strips and she's going into the bath and he, like, runs around the corner and he's like, ooh, I'm gonna get in trouble here. And you, like, hear her slip and fall because he, like, tackles her. Yeah. It's like, Look, he sucks. At
least we both can agree Benji's daughter is too good for this movie.
Oh God, yes.
And Omar.
Yeah. The actress, I felt bad for this actress too. She didn't deserve this either.
You do not show skin twice for
fucking
not Chevy Chase movie. Benji movie. No,
not for any Chevy Chase movie.
Ugh.
God. He's never... I am going to put this on record. Chevy Chase has never done a good job in any film he's ever been in. Any movie that people like him in, they're either looking at it through nostalgia goggles, and if they went back and watched it, it wouldn't hold up, or it's carried by other people like Bill Murray and Rodney Dangerfield. Because, man, Chevy Chase is the most unfunny piece of shit actor I've ever met. God, he sucks. I'm so done with him. We're not watching any more Chevy Chase movies. Thank you for watching Rough Cuts, everybody. That's the end. Fuck this movie.
If you would like to join the anti-Chevy Chase coalition, please email us at Rough Cuts Podcast. Is that right? Rough Cuts Podcast?
Yep, roughcutspodcast@gmail.com. You can... is it Rough Cuts Cast? Hold up. Just a second.
Oh, shit. We will send you...
roughcutscast@gmail.com.
Our immense disappointment in Chevy Chase.
If you have any questions or suggestions or anything to distract us from Chevy Chase, please send them to roughcutscast@gmail.com.
Please do the world a favor and try to just distract people from Chevy Chase as much as possible. Just if he comes up in conversation, just please change the topic. It's for everyone's good. This is a public health announcement.
Socially distanced from Chevy Chase.
Before
and after the virus.
Just do it.
It doesn't have to do with the virus. Just don't come within 10 feet of Chevy Chase. Everybody make an agreement that no matter what happens after this, that at least we'll stay 10 feet away from Chevy Chase at all times.
Oh, God, I need that. Oh. Thanks for listening, everybody. That was another episode of Rough Cuts. We appreciate all of your viewing, listening, all the tweets you send out, all of the thousands of dollars you send to our secret P.O. box. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Say no more, say no more.
And Patreon that we have, absolutely.
Yeah, y'all should check out our Patreon.
We do have it.
I didn't mention this. I forgot to mention this in the podcast, but I literally bought this movie online, set up a VCR, hooked it up to my computer through a AV to HDMI adapter to my capture card, recorded it on OBS, uploaded it to a video website so we could watch it together, and then screen shared it so we could do this movie for you. So there is a lot behind the scenes that goes into these podcasts, and we super appreciate all of the support.
Yeah, you did a ton of work for this one, and wow, it was not worth it. You're never doing that again, huh? Like, never again. I would never do that again. Thank you for doing it. That was a lot of work. Man, I wouldn't have fucking done it.
Oh my god.
I'm just glad that I have you as a patsy to do this shit for me. You fool.
But yeah, go ahead and I guess
like, subscribe,
keep listening,
share it out,
likes,
all that stuff.
Yeah, all that stuff.
It matters. It makes a big difference. Just sharing us out on Twitter is a big deal, and we do appreciate all the people that like send us emails, talk to us through Twitter, like retweet stuff. Just it's really nice to have some of that stuff. I know we have our own personal Discords for some of the other things that we do, and we've gotten some compliments in there that have been very, very kind, and it means a lot to us that anybody listens to this at all and has some fun with it. So these movies are terrible and they suck to watch, but it makes it worth it to be able to know that somebody gets at least a little bit of a kick out of it. So we really do appreciate it when people mention it.
All right. See you next time.
There is one joke in this movie.
Chevy
There's
Chase.
only one thing that I know. Okay, there's two jokes in this movie.
I needed that.